Hello there everyone, and welcome to my second part of the Project Voyager build. This is the 1400 scale kit that I had received a few months ago now. It's taken a while to build her up, but now she's completely finished. I think one of the main benefits of extra detail parts is I really recommend getting the JT Graphics Voyager set of decals. Absolutely stunning. As you can see, this is sort of after the gloss coat's been applied and the first set of decals are going on. It's important to do the gloss, obviously. You don't want any decals shine. They do, in the instructions, recommend you scrape away all of the lifeboats, but I didn't see that beforehand, and I'm quite glad I didn't, because I don't think it really helps. I think it's quite important to have the protrusions of the lifeboats coming through. So you can see here, this is the underside about to get the completed decal set coming along. This actually is after I applied the first coat of gloss Vallejo varnish and then put a coat of Future over the top of that. You can see it's ridiculously shiny and glossy now. It really helps with getting the decals on. And the windows were all painted by hand, some lit as it were and some weren't. The interesting dark mustardy colour phaser banks on this one. Not very common compared to other Star Trek kits, but it all adds to the effect. And this kit, just to remind everyone, was part of the three-piece Voyager kit. It came with Maquis Raider and Kazon Fighter, a bit more on that a bit later. A few more stills here, so it's all coming together now. Really pleased with the way it's all turned out. Interesting use of a radiator in the British winter to dry out your kit. It's the hot air circulating. So this is more or less when the kit started to come completely closed. This is now the top source and rear sections of the dorsal side have all been decaled up. And we've had an additional 2 coats of Future overlaying on the top. It's quite good decals around the rim and on the thruster ports here. I didn't originally paint those, but they do. The decals work really well, especially if you add microsol and set to really hunker the decals down and take a bit of time on getting it right. You can see a bit more of the side of the saucer, the saucer edge here. You get all the thrusters obviously in the sensor strips and the airlock doors and the phaser pods and the lifeboats and so forth, and the reverse of the shuttle bay. So it's still quite glossy at this point, but left it for a few days just to completely dry to an absolute dead dry bone state. So you don't want to put all the effort into making the decals nice and accurate and then overlay or satin or matte varnish on top of that and potentially ruin them. And then after all of that, this is Vallejo satin varnish I went for in the end, and a resin Star Trek Next Generation resin stand until I get a different one, hopefully. So yeah, an awesome little kit. I think the satin coat is important actually. I'm quite glad I went with satin and not with flat at this point, because you want to have a bit of a shine. It is made out of metal in theory, after all, so it does catch the light quite well, especially around the nacelles, having the blue and the red nice and shiny, but not too shiny. You don't want it to be glinting. Went for the dramatic angled flight on the stand here, because obviously the Voyager is a much more nimble, light-footed starship compared to the Galaxy class or Nebula or Sovereign, the big girls. Potentially could have added a bit more detail around the seam lines to try and fix it up a bit, but possibly that's something for another day. But I'm happy with it, and really pleased the way it's all come together. As I said in my previous video, I've been wanting to get hold of this kit for quite some time. The only real versions of 1400 scale kit you could get your hands on were this particular one, this 3-piece set, or the resin one from Alliance Models, which costs about £80 or £90 in the UK, which is far too expensive for a kit of its size. And I got it on eBay for a bit of a bargain, so I'm quite happy with that. Here's a slow pan of the saucer section. Really like the design of the kit. I think having the saucer and the secondary hull hunkered down together. So this series came out before First Contact did, so it's a nice little design. And here we have the model itself on the man cave shelf in my home compared to a couple of other models. So this is a 1400 scale destroy kit bash kit, just to give it a bit of a sense of scale. And then on the far left here we have the Daedalus class USS Horizon, and recently completed, so you can see a bit of a scale and how in canon 200 odd years of improvements make in size of starships, closely guarded by Iron Man Mark 6. And then this is one of the other kits that came with the 3-piece kit. This is the Maki Raider, to give you a sense of the scale here. And then also this is the Kazon Fighter. It's nearly completed, but you can see it's still a good size kit. And then just to give you a final comparison, this is the Enterprise D for a bit of a comparison. Obviously Enterprise is absolutely enormous compared to the Voyager, but as I say in the books and the films, it's smaller and faster. So there you go. Hope to watch more videos. Please subscribe or click on the videos below to see what I've been up to. Thanks, bye bye.